Brendan from WP Speedfix. I thought I'd make you a short video just to talk about our Core Web Vitals consulting services. So we are a site speed optimization and technical SEO agency. Those are the two things we specialize in. Site speed optimization is basically a subset or is part of technical SEO. And one of the things we do, pretty much our core service, is Google Core Web Vitals consulting and optimization services. So that's what we have been doing since 2020 when Core Web Vitals was released or announced or introduced by Google. So we're a bit different to other agencies. You're probably either watching this on YouTube or on our website, but if you're on YouTube, you click over to this page on our website, Core Web Vitals Consulting. It talks about a few things and how we operate. So basically, 100 score in Google PageSpeed Insights is not the goal of speed optimization. Passing Core Web Vitals is. So the Core Web Vitals dataset is the real world speed users are experiencing when they visit your website. So on every single Google Chrome browser and all Chrome-based browsers, so using the Chromium engine, which is a lot of the browsers, like something like 70% of the browser market, on every page load, that browser is sending data back to Google. So it's sending data back on the load speed of the page. That data set is called the Chrome User Experience Report, or CrUX. And that's the data set that is used to generate reports about site speed and Core Vitals metrics. So if you run a test in Google PageSpeed Insights, that data at the top that says field data, that is coming from real users who have visited that site or your site or that page. So the goal is not 100 score in PageSpeed Insights. What the goal is actually to pass the Core Web Vitals metrics. So get a passing grade there or getting a good score across the three Core Web Vitals metrics. Commonly, you'll see here, we've got just a note on the page. So commonly, a lot of other agencies and tools and services will promise or guarantee 100 score in PageSpeed Insights. And the way they're able to do that is basically by cheating the test. So in most cases, what they are doing is not loading the full version of the page, which is essentially cheating the test. So most commonly what they do is delay or pause the JavaScript on the page until the user interacts with the page. So basically they're not loading the whole page. So that makes the speed look really good in a test like that. But in a real world scenario, that can actually make the speed go backwards. So the reason for that is when the user gets to the site and then starts interacting with it, only then do things like JavaScript load, heavy third-party tracking tools, live chat tools, things like that, and actually makes their experience slower in a lot of cases. So it can actually make the Core Web Vitals go backwards. So it's possible to have 100 score on PageSpeed Insights and be completely failing the Core Web Vitals metrics. So keep that in mind. It can also totally ruin your SEO. So because the page is not loading fully, when a Google crawler comes along, Google gets the same experience as well. It's not seeing the fully loaded page. So often, and you can test this on your own website, just if speed optimization has been done on your site and you're not passing Core Web Vitals, if you just load the page, don't interact with it, don't move the mouse, don't do anything, and just see if it fully loads on that initial page load in the browser. And if it doesn't, then you've got some sort of aggressive JavaScript optimization going on where the page is not loading fully. So keep that in mind. So Core Web Vitals also is a ranking factor. So if you're failing Core Web Vitals, you're likely not ranking as high as you could. We've got some information on the three Core Web Vitals metrics here. LCP, I'll just run through them very quickly. LCP, largest contentful paint. So this is when the user perceives the page as having been loaded. That's when the largest piece of content on the page loads. And the benchmark for good is 75% or more of the visitors getting an LCP time of under 2.5 seconds. So that's what a good or passing grade is. INP is how quickly the site responds to inputs. So how quickly the site visually responds to an input to the user. So that needs to be under 200 milliseconds for 75% or more of the users. And CLS, or layout shift, that's difficult to explain, but it's probably best explained as you would have had this experience yourself when you're on a page. It's kind of loading and you got to click on something and it finishes loading and now you're clicking in the wrong spot. So that's layout shift. So that's not a time or a score, it's a computed number. So it's a calculated number, and it needs to be on the 0.1 for 75% or more of the visitors to be in the passing grade. We've also got time to first byte listed here. So this is not a Core Web Vitals metric, but it does impact all the other metrics. So this is how quickly your server responds to requests. So the time to first byte, the time it takes for the server to send back the first byte, or the browser, technically the browser to receive the first byte from the server. So if you have a bad time to first byte, all the other metrics will be bad. So we just talked about LCP, and our goal is under 2.5 seconds. So if you have a time to first byte of 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, then you're instantly or immediately going to fail that LCP metric. So time to first byte is also important, although it's not a Core Web Vitals metric. And time to first byte is affected by a lot of things like hosting quality, hosting speed, hosting load, how well, or if you even have page caching on the site, whether you're using more advanced techniques like edge caching, so the page is cached at the content delivery network layer or the CDN layer. And it can also be impacted by things like marketing tools. So very common problem we see is paid traffic being very slow because there are custom query strings that are attached to that paid traffic that are bypassing all the speed optimizations. So you end up in a scenario where the most expensive visitors, or the visitors you're paying for, are actually getting the slowest experience because of these marketing tools you're using. So that's a very common issue as well. So there's a lot of different ways we can help you. So broadly, our consulting approach is split into 3 parts. Basically, we audit a site, we come up with an action plan, and then we do the implementation. So we can do implementation for you, or if you have a team, they can do it, or we can work with your team to do the implementation. But basically 3 phases of our optimization work there too. We also have a custom built tool called Vital Signs Tracker. So one problem we have with Core Web Vitals data is that it's based on an average of 28 days. So if we're relying on Google's tools, we have to wait 28 days or up to 28 days to see how well our speed optimization work has performed or whether it's fixed problems. With our tool Vital Signs Tracker, we actually are grabbing the same data that Google grabs from the Core Web Vitals dataset, or the CrUX user experience report dataset, and we put it in our own database so we can do reports on it. There's actually, if you go to our products and services menu here, you'll see Vital Signs Tracker is in there. And there's some information there and a kind of walkthrough video on how it works. But basically, we can run reports and see how we're doing on a page-by-page level. And it also tracks the attribution. So if something like LCP is failing, we actually click into these metrics and it will tell us what the element that it was loading that's failing. It's an image or video or whatever it is. So it's a very powerful tool, and we've built that to kind of shortcut the process of optimizing for Core Web Vitals. So what we can do is implement the action plan, and then we have Vital Signs Tracker installed, and within 3, 5, or 7 days, depending on how much traffic the site has, we have a data set there, and we can see whether the site's passing or whether more action is required, or maybe there's particular pages that have big fat images or something that is slow, and those images need individual attention. But broadly, with Vital Signs Tracker, we close the loop and can kind of turn around optimization very quickly and see all the gaps without having to rely on Google tools or Google Search Console. In terms of getting started, there's probably 2 things you can do from here. We have a free site audit page here, so you can submit a site audit request. Tell us what you're looking for help with or what you're looking to achieve. One of the team will come back to you within about 1 business day or so. If you're not ready for that yet, we also have a Core Web Vitals report here. So you can run this report and it will work so long as you have enough traffic. So to have a Core Web Vitals data set for a website, it needs to have somewhere between 50 to 100 visits per day to have enough traffic to build that data set. It's not a fixed number because it's based on Google Chrome browsers. So if you have a lot of Safari browsers, Safari users, there might not be enough traffic from Google Chrome users to push you over that kind of threshold. But anyway, so run this report. It takes about 60 seconds. There's no opt-in required. You can only run it on a site level. It doesn't work on a page level, and make sure you're using the primary URL of the site. So if your site loads with or without www, use that in here. I'll run a report now on a site here. So I'll just generate this report so you can see what it looks like. There's a video walkthrough on that page explaining how the reports work. It's a Google Data Studio report. And like I said, it takes about 60 seconds to run. Sometimes a little faster than others. So you can see here's the date selector. You can actually see the historical data on the for the site. So you can go back, I think, 12 months, and you can click these tabs on the left and see the historical data for the different metrics. So you can see they go back 12 months. So you have the Core Web Vitals and then other metrics as well. You can also see the percentage of desktop versus mobile users that it's tracked as well. So you can see what's more important. Some sites, desktop's more important than mobile and vice versa. And you can run this report on competitor sites as well. The report updates on the second Tuesday of each new month with new data sets. So you can actually set this up and use it on a month-to-month basis and track your site speed. You can set up email reporting for it as well. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're not ready yet for a service, there's a link here. Click to generate that report. If there's anything else you need, just hit the Contact Us page on our website. Or if you have any questions, post in the comments below if you're on YouTube. But I think that covers everything. If you need any help, like I said, come to our website, wpspeedfix.com, and we're happy to help you out with Core Web Vitals consulting, services, optimization. Cheers.